So I have a thing that I do here on the channel, and basically anything that I watch, I do my best to do a video on it. In this case, it's a real struggle to sit here and talk about G20. I'm not saying that because G20 wasn't good. It was an all right movie on my scales. When you look in the description or if you just listen along, I gave it a 5.4, 5.6, I think, out of 10. You can look at how the numbers break down. It's all right on my scales, and I lean toward positive because I did have a good time with it. But it's just not a super duper interesting movie. When you look at the film landscape right now, Sinners has been out for the past 2 weeks. It basically had no drop from week 1 to week 2. And with so many people seeing what I call a top tier cinema type of film, it makes me want to talk about G20 in a different context. Not about G20 the movie, but about the tiers of film making. Every movie is not created equally, in my opinion. Some films are going to be top tier films that no one can really dispute the fact that this movie is a well-made piece of art. Things like Sinners, things like Nosferatu from last year, things like Civil War from last year. And the list goes on and on with films that are obviously top tier, well-made movies. And then in a tier below that, you find things that are really, really good with really popular names, but they're more done for entertainment purposes than they are to give you a message and give you a theme and give you things to think about after you finish watching the film. Like movies like G20 are not things that people turn into think pieces on the internet like they've done with a movie like Sinners. There's just not enough content. There's just not enough messaging. There's nothing to it that makes it that interesting to be discussing for weeks on end. Whereas with a top tier film, you can talk about it for days and days and keep coming back to it and revisit it because you'll watch it and learn new things about the context to either which it was shot or the meaning that this scene might have had in the eyes of the director or the writer. And so again, top tier cinema has those elements, and things that are kind of just made for entertainment don't have those elements. G20 was all right. It has top tier celebrities. You know, Viola Davis is Academy Award winning actress. You have Anthony Anderson, who is probably a top tier Black celebrity, A-list celebrity in regular Hollywood as well. Highly recognizable. He has shown his range. He's been in things like The Departed, and he's also been on sitcom TV. I believe at one point he did stand-up. He's been in Transformers films. He's a highly recognizable face. Definitely what I would call an A-list celebrity. You have Anthony Starr in this, who is the face of the Boys franchise and Homelander. And when you look at him, it's like, yeah, he's a recognizable face as well. And I think he did a good job in this. It was a cool little movie. But at the same time, it's not gonna leave you talking about it, for weeks on end. I guess the best example I could give would be to move away from a movie like Sinners and talk about something that I actually scored lower than G20, and that was Nosferatu. When I look at Nosferatu, I think I scored that at a 4 out of 10, and I think I scored G20 as a 5.6 out of 10. In no way, shape, or form is G20 actually better than Nosferatu. You have my objective look at it, and you also have my personal feelings toward it mixed together, and me saying basically I had a better time watching G20 than I did Nosferatu. That is very, very true. But Nosferatu is not in the same tier of film as G20. Nosferatu is at the top. You can tell from the writing, from the direction, from the way that the characters are stylized, the way they chose to twist things with the vampire mythos of Nosferatu and making it different from what we've seen in the past. Again, lots of visual imagery, things that went on in that film. Top tier stuff. I didn't enjoy it, but it was top tier stuff. G20, I really enjoyed, but was it anything special? Not at all. And that's the point. You have things that are top tier that you may or may not enjoy, and you critique it in a certain way, and you have things that are definitely not top tier, but you enjoy them because they are what they are. I guess you can call that my review of G20. If you have any thoughts on G20 and you care to share them in the comment section, I would be very deeply grateful for any interaction I get with this video about this topic. Again, if you want to talk to the tiers of filmmaking, I'm definitely down to do that in the comment section as well. That's all I got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.